My name is Eric, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys about, the promises of God over my life, and the fact that sometimes God's timing doesn't always match up with ours, but when we let ourselves step back and let God do the work, it's always good. So for me, I grew up in a Christian home. My mum loves Jesus, and so I was raised to do the same. But I think for me, some of the biggest moments of testimony and breakthrough have come when I've stepped out of my comfort zone, prayed for people, and seen God do incredible things through other people simply because of my obedience and stepping back and letting God do the work. I went to a Youth Life conference in Adelaide, and it was the first night of worship, and Pastor Sam Long was doing his usual, give me a cheer if you're from the north, give me a cheer if you're from the south. And I'm sitting in an aisle seat, and all of a sudden he says, give me a cheer if you're from Murray Bridge. And what felt like half the room stood up and started cheering, super excited, Murray Bridge, yeah, house youth. And I was sitting there and I'm like, yeah, cool. And then all of a sudden I just heard this quiet whisper in my mind of, Eric, one day you're going to call Lifehouse home and you're going to call Murray Bridge home. Then come December last year, I was invited to be part of a camp down in Wellington, and so joined the team for that. And while I was there, I was offered a full-time role at the campsite. And then all of a sudden, I was reminded of God's promise to me 3.5 years ago of, Eric, one day you'll call Murray Bridge home. And so I realized in that moment, without having to do any massive prayer, any deep thought about it, that my obedience in saying yes in that moment was an opportunity for me to let God make good on his promise. I think one of the big reasons why I feel so at home at Lifehouse is because God's on the move here. I remember a couple of weeks ago after a youth night, I was chatting to a couple of the leaders and we were talking about how the night went. And I just had to stop and take stock of the fact that, that this isn't normal, what God is doing here. In terms of our standards of what's expected in the Western church, in youth ministry, in young people these days, what's happening here in Murray Bridge, in Lifehouse, in House Youth, is so similar to what's happening in the early church. That we're seeing people saved, that we're seeing chains broken, that we're seeing such incredible things happening. And I think for me, having just the privilege of witnessing this, of being in an environment that allows God to move freely, is a place that I've been able to call home so quickly. I think a big encouragement for us as a church as we lean into this year of the vision statement of strong and courageous as being more than just this bold out there vision statement, but actually something personal for us, is exactly that strong and courageous is something for each of us to step into our own lives. As we've heard our preaching team share over the last couple of weeks, that strong and courageous is for us to live out in our lives. And I think it's so amazing seeing people already step into that. They're calling to live that strong and courageous life wherever they are, wherever God has placed them.